All right, well, then there's this guy. I think this guy is more of a left wing, talks a lot about leftist economics, very popular over in the UK to have these guys who are these sort of like, they kind of talk like roadmen, like your average guy. You can relate to them, and they are very into their leftist economics. This guy here has gotten a lot of traction recently, and he's talking in this clip about the divide between left and right and the way in which the culture is moving. So I want to get your take on this.
Everybody in the street knows the political center has failed. Everybody knows. So something has to change. There's a quote from Milton Friedman, American economist. At times of crisis,
we start immediately with everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, sir? Everybody knows that what you're saying is not true. Okay, so we start with that supposition, right, Jake?
Yeah.
And then I could build a logically consistent case based on that, can't I?
Yeah,
we just have to start with something completely flawed to begin with. So he starts with a bullshit position, everybody knows, and then builds an entire case on the everybody knows in order to give himself some sort of validity, right? And these people are, the guys like this, they just get torn apart. I tear them to pieces. They're so stupid. But anyway, go ahead.
No idea will be chosen from the ideas lying around at the time. Everybody knows that we will get something new in politics. And it is really obvious what the loudest idea lying around now is, which is the far right. And the second loudest idea is us. Tax the rich. So if you are a billionaire and you know that politics is going to move either towards the far right or tax the rich, what are you going to do? You are going to fund the far right, and they are doing it aggressively. Look at what Elon Musk is doing. These guys know that they don't want to pay higher taxes, and they are.
It's almost like the dialectic between right-wing traditionalists and the left-wing tax the rich people has just emerged, Andrew, 2 minutes ago.
Well, not only that, but the reason that the ultra wealthy fund both sides of American politics through NGOs and lobbyists and everything else is because they're hedging their bets. They're not going to pay regardless of who's in charge. Okay? It doesn't matter who's in charge. The ultra wealthy are not going to be paying taxes. Do you know why, Jake?
Why?
Because they write the tax policies.
Yeah.
See, what happens is the ultra wealthy, like George Soros and his think tanks, they write legislation. They write tax policy. And then what they do is they take it to their frontmen in Congress and they say, okay, all of us lawyers, our big team of lawyers have gone ahead and put this entire bill together for you. Go ahead and present it in front of Congress. And they do. And then they get it voted on. And then those lobbying groups go to other Democrats and say, hey, we're going to give you money for your reelection campaign if you vote on this bill. They hedge it. It doesn't matter who's in charge, the far left or the far right. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if this was a fascist country, communist country, a democracy. It doesn't matter. As long as legislation is passed by people who are not in Congress writing it, right? And that's how all of it is passed. Then the mega wealthy are never going to pay a dime in taxes. I don't know what this guy is talking about.
True.
Correct that the way to prevent yourself from having to pay high taxes is to aggressively fund the far right.
So just on that, he goes on about it a little bit more here. But
I would make this argument back. If it really was the case that the ultra wealthy were terrified of the left-wing elites and communists and socialists and things like that, why is it that the ultra wealthy allow them to be platformed everywhere and don't allow the far right to be platformed anywhere? If it's really true that the greatest existential threat to the uber wealthy is that the left is going to tax away all day monies, then why the when they own all of the means of production when it comes to influencing, do they only ban right-wing content but not left-wing content? Makes you wonder which thing is really a threat to the system here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why do you think it is that right-wing content and right-wing ideas have gained such prominence on the internet in the last 10 years? Because this is the point that they're making. They're saying, well, they're funding all of these right-wing content creators and they have such big ecosystems, these right-wing content creators, and the left, they don't really have that. Cenk Uygur complains about this all the time. Oh, Young Turks are so small, Daily Wire are so big. Why do you think that has actually occurred?
Well, it's really simple. It's counterculture politics, right? So what happens inside of the United States is every 20, 30 years, there's a big social revolution. Always a big social revolution. It has been the case for the last couple hundred years that most of these social revolutions have been progressive social revolutions.
Mhm.
Just so happens that this time, the social revolution is moving the other direction. And it's because things have gotten so out of control that you have literal reading to 5-year-old kids and, like going into book clubs dressed as transsexuals, having kids stuff money in their G-strings, right? At that point, the counterculture is basically you against decadent Rome.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, there's another social upheaval. It's about 30 years away from the last social upheaval. And this time it's moving over to the right. And this is just something that they haven't dealt with before. They haven't dealt with a social revolution the other direction.
Right. All right. Well, here's the next clip of this fella.
I think so much of this growth in like the global right, the global far right is downstream from, to be honest, you have to say it, a very, very successful online alt-right, far-right US. They've been so successful at that. You go online.
Yeah, do you know why, though?
It becomes this.
Do you know why they were so successful?
Because the left went completely fucking insane.
Yeah, that's part of it, yes. But the main part of it was this. These lefties, they got greedy. They got themselves this bright idea. Lefties got together in about, this was between 2016 and 2018. And they decided that all right-wingers who talked about race, talked about IQ, talked about, interracial anything, talked about Jewish power, talked about Israel, talked about any issues other than status quo progressive issues were an existential threat to society, and therefore they needed to be removed forever and ever and ever from all social spaces. Well, what happened is they did that. YouTube went through, canned all of them, canned every single one of them. Not only YouTube went through and canned them all, but all, right? It didn't matter where there was a platform. Doesn't matter if it was anywhere online that existed, Facebook, right? Any of these places, they literally just got rid of them and they depersoned them. And so this forced the right to do what? Create their own technologies, their own alternative banking systems, their own alternative infrastructure so that they could fight back, right? That's what they did. So they started to make these little containment sites. Nick Fuentes had a containment site called Cozy TV. Gavin McGinnis has a containment site, which is uncensored. Yeah, uncensored. Vox Day and Owen Benjamin created their own containment site. They all went and created their own containment sites, and they started working on these various technologies. So what happened when they started working on these various technologies is video processing got way better. Live streaming got way better. The ways for which to transfer money between people got way better. And then along comes Rumble and says, well, we can take all of these disenfranchised people, and other alt platforms, by the way, we can take all these disenfranchised people and we can put them all on one platform and offer them our own payment processor because now we're working outside the system. So the whole time these right-wingers were off these major platforms, they were still gathering large audiences. It's just that there was nobody to contest anything they said. There was not a single left-winger there to contest a thing that they said. They were completely uncontested in everything. And so it started picking up massive traction. Who was there to refute it? Nobody. And so now these guys they're like, what's going on? How is this happening? Well, what happened is when they accumulated this amount of influence and this amount of money, they were able to start making moves and did. And now Elon Musk, a billionaire who happens to be sympathetic to many of those causes, buys up X and says, you can say what you want here. Now you got mainstream Twitter is in the hands of the right? What they had already made an alternative of Twitter called Gab. They were already working on these alternative technologies long before Elon Musk came along and bought up Twitter and made it X. So the leftists did this to themselves. And so what was the rallying cry of the right, though? This is the major one. Why did all the right wingers get so much credibility? Because they said, if what I'm saying is not true, they wouldn't have to silence me. Yeah. And that's a powerful, powerful argument.
Yep. Yep. And if they're saying, well, they're scared of me. If we would just debate, they know that they couldn't win the debate. And that is a very powerful argument. Whenever I see that, I always think, well, this person's got something to say, because if they don't want to debate them, if they're scared of them, then they must be onto something here. So very powerful one. But it's like the left created the conditions for the right to have this ascendance online that
they forced it. They forced it. Imagine taking all of the voices of half of the nation, right, and just saying, well, they just don't have a platform now. There's no problem. And expecting that they're not going to make alternative. And the left demanded it. In fact, they were like, oh, yeah, go make your own alternative technology. Go make your own. These are private companies. They can do what they want. Go make your own. So the right goes and makes their own. And they're like, I can't believe that we allow in this country Nazis to have this kind of technology. And it's like they did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. YouTube used to be a playground, man. 2016, 2017, 2018, you come on YouTube and you could talk about real issues. You could get really nitty and gritty. You could get right down into the crux of where it is you were going, and there was no penalty. It was truly an arena for sharing ideas in the political. But here's what happened there. Leftists made, they made a convincing argument to get them deplatformed based on the fact that advertisers didn't like the boycotts that leftists were putting on for the anti-gay, Jewish, anti-whatever various alt-right lobbies that were coming in. But now they have their own technologies, they have their own audiences, they have their own funding, and they're a serious source of media. And now they have to deal with them. They're totally unprepared. They don't know the talking points. They don't know the arguments. They don't know the people they're going up against. They don't know anything. They're completely blind, and they've been blindsided. And they don't know what to do. And so what they've been trying to do for the last 2 years is say, just disengage, just disengage, just disengage. Okay, well, now Donald Trump's president. How did that disengagement work out for you, right? So now they have to actually engage, and they don't know what to do. They have no idea what to do.
Social space, right? And in this, like, especially this post-COVID age where people are online, people are lonely, that online US alt-right has done that. You go in there, and there's like 40, 45 different faces, and they bounce off each other and they beef each other. They're winning that space, man. I think it should be so obvious. It's so obvious that social media is becoming and will become more and more and more and more powerful in politics. And yet the political left has done nothing. And the political right is just dominating that space. There's such an obvious shift in politics.
Yeah, they can't do anything, though. So the leftist policy, the official leftist policy for 10 years has been refuse to engage. Right? Leftist political streamer Hassan Piker refuses to engage. Bosch, right? Got out of debates, refuses to engage. Destiny, to his credit, actually does engage, right? But he's one of the few who does. Almost no left-wing influencer will engage with any right-wing voices which are prominent. They refuse. And so you can't have a policy of non-engagement and then go, why are all these people taking over the space? It's because right-wingers go, bring it on, motherfucker. Well, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's debate. Let's have it out. Let's have these issues out. Let's look at these studies. Let's actually go, case by case, line by line. Let's duke it out. And they won't do it. And so they lose all of the very same spaces that they have. The second the playing field is evened out, the second they can't be like, he's a Nazi, get rid of him. And they know it. And so, yeah, this guy's right in a sense. It's just that they made the conditions for it. And by the way, this pussy, I bet you anything, he wouldn't engage either. Bet you anything, he has the same policy. Refusal to engage with right-wing voices while he complains about how all the left-wingers are losing all of their spaces. How much you want to bet, Jake? I'll tell you what, DM this guy and tell him that you want to set up a debate with me. Watch him go, no way.
Yeah. He did do a debate recently-ish on Diary of a CEO, but I have no idea who it was against. I think it might have been, I don't know. But I'll DM him and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, here's how it's going to go. DM him tonight, and tomorrow bring the receipts of him being like, no way. No way.
All right.
The political parties are super, super slow on it. Do you know what I found out the other day? Nigel Farage has more TikTok followers than the other 649 MPs combined. As simple as that. It's stupid, right? It's stupid. Like, what are these guys doing? What are they doing? Like, how blind do you not see? It's so obvious that politics is moving social media. And like, nobody's even moving into that space. It's insane. It's insane. There is, honestly, we are leaving so much food on the table here. We are leaving so much food on the table here. I honestly think this. The far right is only winning because there's nothing else there. There's nothing else there. Everybody hates Labour.
Well, okay.
Everybody hates
stop it there. In a sense, he's right, but he's mostly wrong, right? A kernel of truth for his propaganda to push it forward, but mostly wrong. He is right that there's nothing else there. But why isn't there anything else there? There's nothing else there because all progressives have to offer you is the status quo. It's more of the same. It's always just more of the same. But we need more gays, more feminists, more immigrants, more of the exact same shit that everybody's upset about. So everything everybody's upset about, the leftist is giving you a stamped guarantee that you're going to get more of that, right? That is their guarantee to you. And the right is saying, our guarantee to you is that we're not going to give you more of the same. You're going to get more of the thing that you, or less of the thing that you don't like instead. And that's a much more appealing policy, isn't it?
Conservatives, and I've been all around the world, and I could tell you the main two parties from basically any country. Everybody hates them. Everybody hates them. So the far right is winning because people are like, well, these guys are next. These guys are next. So look, we need to build something else. We need to build something else. You, me, the people in this room, we're not going to do it today.
They can't.
We're not going to do it tomorrow, but we need to build something else. And we need to build it not for us, but for the rest of the people. Something that they can understand.
They can't build something else. They're at the mercy. They thought that the tech nut giants were always going to hold monopolies on these tech industries, not realizing all it would ever take was one influential billionaire to break the monopoly. And we got two. We got Trump and Musk, right? And they broke the monopoly on these things. And so now suddenly it's like, well, wait a second, Facebook. You want serious regulations? Then go ahead and keep throwing people off the platform for just being right wing. And they're like, okay, hands off approach. YouTube trying to loosen up more of its TOS because they don't want to come under the gun either. Ultimately, the left created the conditionals for this problem themselves by refusing to engage. They put their head in the sand and thought that the problem was just going to go away. We'll just ignore it. It'll go away. We don't have to deal with them anymore. It'll go away. It doesn't go away.
Nice.